Kevin Hart was kicked out of a high-end car dealership, but his comeback shocked everyone. It all started on an otherwise ordinary day. Kevin leaned back on the plush leather of his living room couch, the faint hum of the television playing in the background. His phone buzzed incessantly with messages and calls, the rhythm of a life constantly in motion. To the world, Kevin was a comedic genius, a master of turning life's absurdities into laughter. Few understood the price of that relentless hustle. The success, accolades, and money hadn't filled the gnawing sense of emptiness that had grown within him. He wanted something for himself, something symbolic of his journey. The idea struck him like a flash. A car. Not just any car, but the kind he dreamed of as a teenager growing up in Baltimore. Back then, his family struggled to make ends meet. Owning a sleek, luxurious car had seemed as distant as the stars. Now, standing at the pinnacle of his career, he wanted to make that dream real. It wasn't about showing off. It was about claiming a piece of the world he'd fought so hard to be a part of. The thought filled him with anticipation. Memories of flipping through glossy car magazines as a kid rushed back to him, the Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and Aston Martins that had adorned those pages like works of art. He could almost hear the low purr of the engines, smell the leather interiors, and feel the power beneath the hood. The next morning, Kevin woke up earlier than usual, excitement coursing through him. He dressed casually in a black hoodie, jeans, and sneakers, wanting the moment to feel personal and unpretentious. His assistant had mentioned a luxury car showroom in Midtown Heights, renowned for its collection of high-end vehicles. Kevin pulled into the dealership, its glass exterior gleaming in the morning sun. Inside, the showroom exuded wealth and exclusivity. The polished marble floor reflected the gleaming sports cars like mirrors, and the air smelled faintly of leather and something expensive. Kevin approached a red sports car that caught his eye. The paint gleamed like molten fire, and he couldn't resist running his hand lightly over the hood. A crisp voice interrupted him. "Can I help you?" Kevin turned to see a young man in a tailored navy suit. The man's expression was polite, but tinged with skepticism. Kevin smiled, keeping his tone friendly. "Just admiring the beauty here. What's the story on this one?" The salesman's lips curled into a smirk, not quite a smile. "This is the kind of car for someone who knows exactly what they're looking for. It's not really for browsing." Kevin raised an eyebrow, surprised but unfazed. "Good thing I'm not just browsing then. Let's talk specs." The salesman's eyes scanned him from head to toe, clearly assessing Kevin's casual outfit. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Of course, but just to be clear, these aren't entry-level vehicles. They're for serious buyers." Kevin chuckled, a slight edge in his voice. "Trust me, I'm serious." The salesman continued. "Well, we like to make sure our clientele understands what they're getting into. These vehicles start in the mid-six-figure range." Before Kevin could respond, another voice chimed in. "He's right, you know." Kevin turned to see a sharply dressed older man admiring a nearby car. The man looked at Kevin with a condescending smile. "These cars aren't for everyone. Maybe stick to your usual set of wheels." Kevin's jaw tightened. He was no stranger to veiled insults, but the sting was still there. Memories of being followed around stores as a kid, judged before he even said a word, flashed through his mind. He took a deep breath, refusing to snap back. Instead, he nodded and walked out of the showroom, his head held high. The drive home felt longer than usual. Kevin replayed the encounter in his mind, each comment stinging more than the last. It wasn't about the car anymore. It was about the principle, about the way he'd been dismissed and underestimated. Back at home, Kevin sat at his kitchen counter, the untouched cup of coffee in front of him, reflecting his stormy mood. His friend Derek walked in, setting down a bag of takeout. "What happened? I thought you were excited about checking out that car." Kevin exhaled sharply. "I was, until they treated me like I didn't belong there. It wasn't just about me being Kevin Hart. It was about me being me, a black guy in their world." Derek's expression darkened. "Man, that's trash. But what do you expect from places like that? They cater to a specific crowd, and it ain't us." Kevin shook his head. "That's the problem. It's not just them. It's everywhere." Derek leaned forward, his voice steady. "So, what are you going to do about it?" Kevin's eyes narrowed as an idea began to take shape. "I'll go back, but this time with hidden cameras. I want people to see it for themselves. Derek nodded, a grin spreading across his face. Man, that's bold. You sure you're ready for that kind of heat? Kevin smiled back. Ready? I was born ready. Planning the operation became a team effort. Samantha, a producer on Kevin's team, worked tirelessly to ensure every angle was covered. The cameras would be discreet, microphones carefully hidden, and the questions Kevin asked designed to elicit honest reactions. They didn't want this to feel like a setup. They wanted to capture the raw truth. Kevin's first return visit played out much like the initial encounter. The salesman's skepticism, the condescension, the thinly veiled insults, it was all there, caught on film. Kevin's calm demeanor only made their behavior more apparent. When the video was edited and posted online, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Stories from viewers poured in, each one echoing Kevin's frustration. It wasn't just about cars, it was about being judged, dismissed, and underestimated in countless scenarios. People from all walks of life shared their experiences, and the hashtag #RespectEveryone began trending. But Kevin wasn't done. He knew the dealership's apology would be next, and he knew how to use it. Samantha and Derek worked closely with him to craft his response. When the dealership called with an offer of a complimentary car to smooth things over, Kevin declined. "This isn't about me," he said firmly. "If you want to make amends, take that money and donate it to a program that supports underprivileged youth." The dealership agreed, announcing a significant donation to a scholarship fund for young entrepreneurs. But Kevin wasn't satisfied with stopping there. He wanted to create something lasting, something that could truly make a difference. And so, the idea for his mentorship program was born. It wasn't just about addressing the prejudice he'd faced. It was about breaking down barriers for others, giving them the tools and opportunities they needed to succeed. The program launched with a focus on mentorship, providing training, resources, and connections to industries that often felt out of reach for kids from underserved communities. Kevin poured his energy into the project, meeting with educators, community leaders, and industry professionals to ensure its success. The opening ceremony was a moment of triumph, the culmination of weeks of hard work and determination. Standing on stage, Kevin looked out at the crowd. Parents, students, mentors, and supporters filled the seats, their faces reflecting a mix of hope and excitement. "This isn't just about cars," Kevin said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "It's about opportunity. It's about giving kids the chance to dream big and achieve even bigger. We all deserve respect, no matter where we come from or what we look like. And today we're taking a step toward making that a reality." The crowd erupted into applause, and Kevin felt a wave of pride wash over him. The journey had been painful at times, but it had led to something so much bigger than himself. It wasn't just his victory. It was a victory for everyone who had ever been underestimated, dismissed, or made to feel like they didn't belong. Kevin Hart had turned his pain into progress, and he wasn't done yet.